For our next guest, we have Dr. Rajesh Premchandran. He's the director and head of engineering excellence at BT. Now, BT is a huge company here in the UK, so I'm really excited to hear about the challenges that they've faced transforming into a cloud native business. So let's take a look.
BT is the world's oldest telecommunications company, dating back to 1846. Today, BT serves customers in the UK and in 180 countries worldwide. Our main activities are the provisioning of fixed line services, broadband, mobile, TV products, and network services. We want to continue to lead in converged connectivity through radically simplifying our business, building scalable platforms for growth, and creating leaner business models. IT underpins this enterprise transformation, and technology modernization sits squarely with that change narrative. We use platforms such as Pivotal Cloud Foundry, now Tanzu Application Service, and Tanzu Kubernetes Grid to accelerate app modernization, enable DevOps, and change ways of working. In our attempt at app modernization, we've had several challenges. The issues haven't been technology. The challenges arise from our ways of working, processes, accounting policies, security postures, and even how we inventory software assets in the firm. These road bumps forced us to hit the pause button a couple of times and think about whether to pivot our strategy or persist. Today, I'm going to share 3 aspects of these internal challenges that the BT Tanzu platform team had, and how we either accommodated the existing protocols into our platform rollout or influenced change within BT so we could exploit the promise of something as game-changing as Tanzu. These 3 aspects are strategy, security, and people. First, let's talk about strategy. Our initial approach was to create an application platform for microservices, using only the Tanzu app service. This was good for those apps that used cloud-native frameworks such as Spring Boot. We reduced the time to deploy from 2 months to under 2 minutes. However, many of our teams wanted access to Kubernetes to run other workloads. They wanted to containerize existing workloads and leverage the scalability and configuration-based infrastructure management that Kubernetes offered. Like any enterprise who's been around as long as BT has, our estate is mostly brownfield. Relying on application refactoring into microservices as the only channel to realize benefits of a platform like Tanzu was clearly limiting. So we started using TKG to cater to that section of developers who wanted a Kubernetes dial tone. Listening to your dev team and understanding which feature set of a product they really want was a key learning for us. Next comes security. In the on-premise data center-based world, a lot of these security principles were centered around layer 3, with IP addresses providing service endpoint identity and a basis for routing. With a profusion of microservices, each with its API endpoint, our first challenge was getting our colleagues in security to agree to de-link applications and public IP addresses. Tanzu is a multi-tenanted platform which needs to interact with the rest of the BT ecosystem. With AWS being our choice of IaaS, we needed to shift thinking in terms of elastic IPs and REST endpoints instead of fixed IP to IP connectivity. Here we had to persist as pivoting was against the guiding principles of modern cloud architecture. We worked with our leadership to influence 2 changes. Get our security team to focus on cloud through dedicated personnel aligned to IT dev teams, which helped us engage, educate, and empower. Second, hire cloud security experts to work with our security team in creating new policies that work in the cloud. There's much more to be done in this space, but we are persisting. Third, on the people front, we sensed a gap in understanding when it comes to cloud adoption, especially across SaaS, IaaS, and PaaS. Dev teams debated whether to go native with AWS or GCP or use Kubernetes on-prem or to leverage PaaS solutions. They also were not fully aware of shared responsibilities of managing infra as code or how their roles change when adopting the cloud. With a more DevOps model, their accountabilities did not end with a successful CF push. Day 2 ops had been outsourced, and dev teams needed a huge shift in thinking. Here, we had to pivot, and instead of letting them grapple with operating model choices, we adopted a more human-centric approach to educating teams. We sat down with the enterprise architects, took an inventory of all our applications, and classified apps into legacy, strategic, SaaS, PaaS, and IaaS. This was painstaking work, but it drove consensus around application treatment, educated teams on their roles, and provided simple heuristics for the complex op model choices dev teams had to make. The greatest benefit of this app classification exercise was eliminating scope overlap in our budgets and app modernization plans, allowing the PaaS team to focus on execution. Change is hard, but it is also a great educator. In our quest to overcome challenges, we've learned that our strategy and approach needed to be flexible in parts and relentlessly rigid on some principles. We pivoted on some, persisted with some, but in the end, what we always kept at the forefront as a compass was our developer-first principle. We chose to empower dev teams to make choices, get friction-free access to cloud services, and start innovating with incredible agility, all in the hope that we've created the solid foundation for BT's transformation strategy to execute at pace. Thank you, and have a great SpringOne 2020.